Dave. Dave.
Dude, what the fuck?
Were you even listening to a word I was saying?
Something about you flirting with your boss. Dude, I'm more interested in what's going on over there.
Fine. That's how you want to play this.
I'll be right back.
Alright, let's come into 1v1. Tetelo. Man, you're a busy man. You're a musical artist, you're a videographer, you're a scriptwriter, you're an editor. You've got a lot of things that is going on for you, right? But then we have this beautiful thing called 1v1. And I think before we get into anything, what is the concept? What is 1v1 for anyone who's never actually seen it?
Okay. It's an interesting title because I don't think it's quite abstract. But basically, I mean, the show is all about it's about three guys who always meet up at a coffee shop / restaurant and just talk about everything, their lives, work, relationships, everything. So what happened is the main guy, he's kind of this indecisive guy, and his friends have very polar opposite views of life. So whenever he's kind of going through something, it's always these guys who kind of have these debates and discussions, and he kind of has to pick out from that what he thinks he should do. So it's always one versus one, so this opinion versus that opinion. Yeah, I mean, so my former boss actually wrote it. Yeah, so a few months after I started working for him, he was like, look, you want to direct, so here's a script, let's make this happen. So I was like, okay, cool.
Was this your first web series out of school?
Yeah.
The first one that you did?
Yeah.
So then what intrigued you about it? You came through, you wanted to direct. What is it about the story? Or did the story really matter? Where you just wanted to direct and you're like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to actually get my work out there, my skills out there. Or did you actually buy into the story? Did you actually work as well, right?
Yeah.
And so with this and something that you do, did you just buy into the story? Is it something that you wanted to do? I think this is a great story that we can tell. Because I mean, this is a story of three gents, homies that always meet, like you said, telling different stories. Yo, man, don't do that. Some people are like, you should do it. What brought you into the story, man?
I didn't go into it and feel like I relate to these characters necessarily. But reading it, I found myself laughing here and there. And I was like, as I said before, the comedy thing and how hard it was. So it was more of a challenge to myself as a filmmaker. That on top of the fact that I found it funny. So I was like, you know what, this could be fun to make. And then on the other side, it was literally about making stuff. I've just always wanted to make stuff. So yeah, the moment I had an opportunity, I was just like, let's do this. Let's probably fail, but you know what, let's do it. Yeah. But it didn't fail, so.
No, it hasn't, man. And it really actually is funny. You guys should really go and have a look at 1v1. I think as gents especially, you can have a look at 1v1. And it is a bit opposite to Love. Love is a drama series to some degree, and then yours as well is it's a comedy, right? But it's a comedy that's telling a particular story. But now let's move into something that I'm actually more interested in. So, for example, we just spoke about Zigi, and he has a lot of moving locations, right? A lot of the conversation, a lot of the shots take place in those restaurants. Yeah. There's one particular restaurant where everyone comes in, has this conversation, and you saw in some cases this guy's looking at, crazy things. How did you guys get that restaurant? Is it something that you guys own, or did you guys speak to the owner? How did you guys get into that location?
So, funny enough, I was laughing when you said correct, because that's how you do it, right? You just walk around and find places. So we actually found this place, I think it was in Santon, just randomly. I think someone had seen it before, so they were like, let's try this place. So we went there, we asked for the place, we did rehearsals there, and then the day before we had to shoot, the guy was like, nah, you have to pay. Yo. So we're like, oh, okay, cool. So then, so the guy who wrote it, who actually produced it as well, he remembered he knew this guy who was in business and stuff. So gave him a call and he was like, yo, do you have any places that we could perhaps use? So then, he found that he had that place, and we went there, found it was perfect, so we used this. It was actually still closed when we used it. So we had to get extras and stuff to fill it up. But it was ideal because then it was a controlled environment. Yeah. But I mean, time there was limited as well because it was just about to open. So we had to just kind of do it really quickly.
So then my question to you also then is, because you just mentioned something that comes into mind, the importance of your community or the importance of the people around you, right, to get things done.
Yeah.
Would you promote that you go to your people, wherever it is? I mean, guerrilla tactics, like you guys have mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Go to the people you know, chat to them. Yo, can I use this space? Use this space. Use this space.
Yeah.
Would you definitely promote that more than let me go to a space that I have to pay for? You know.
I mean, I think guerrilla filmmaking comes from the fact that we have limited resources, right? So I think it definitely take advantage of like the spaces that are around you, right? And take advantage of the people that are around you. I think the biggest thing, or biggest resource rather, is the friends we have, the colleagues we have, our peers. This whole thing was done over like 4 weekends, and I basically had people giving up their weekends. You know what I mean? Like Saturday, Sunday, all day. Sometimes till like after midnight. So these were people that I met at school, people that I just like put out a call for on social media. So as I said, the biggest resource is people. So yeah, I was just like, yo bro, can you handle camera? Can you do this? Can you do that? And sometimes you find that people are actually more eager than you think. So yeah, people and you know, use what's around you, use what's there. And also people are usually more eager to give you locations, you know, like we had a scene in a doctor's surgery. And I like going there, I didn't think they'd give it to us, I was just like, let's try. And she was like, you know what, it's cool, you can come in on a Saturday, there's a room available. And we're like, oh, okay, cool.
So you, unlike, and I'm gonna just obviously do a lot of comparisons between everyone in the panel, just so that you get an understanding of the different formats and how everyone is just doing things in a different way, right? Your guys' production set it's very extensive. It's actually quite long. You know, you have a lot of people that are helping out in making the film come together. The web series come together, right? And you just mentioned now that you have people, you come to the people and they give up their weekends for you. How did you convince people to actually do that? You know, in the absence of monetary or money, in the absence of all these other resources that I guess a lot of people would be looking for. I mean, you mentioned a lot of people are more eager, but how long does that go? You know, how long does that eagerness drive, especially on a Saturday, on a Sunday? You know, when that's people's weekend, that's people's time. You know, how do you convince people to keep on wanting to give you that energy consistently all the time?
I mean, I think just having relationships with people, you know, actually, I mean, I didn't like make relationships with the intention to use these people, you know what I mean? I happened to know quite a few people who I'd made relationships with, people I was interested in, and when this thing fell into my lap, I was like, I know this person, I know that person, and in terms of convincing them, I don't know, I think when you're really excited about something, you want to make it, and you know, like when you pitch to someone, like, come do this thing, it's you know, it's gonna take place over 3-4 weekends. Also, when you show that excitement and the level of preparation that you put into it, then a person feels comfortable because it's like, okay, this person seems to know what they're doing. But once again, I do think that there's a lot of people out there who are eager to help. Like right now, I'm currently trying to make another film, and I've been going to a few people. I'm not plugging. I've been like telling people, like I told this guy, I was like, yo, here's the script, give me feedback. Told someone else, here's the script, give me feedback. And like this one person was like, do you have an editor? I'll edit it for you. And I was like, okay, cool. Someone else, people were just, they were willing. So I think the more you create, the more you make relationships, you'll just draw people to you.
Okay, so then my last question to you is, for everyone that is here, right? We have a lot of people that, some of them are aspiring to move into a particular phase within web series. Some people want to start, some people want to grow, some people are in school, some people aren't, right? What would your one advice be then to anyone who wants to look to possibly starting a career? One, is there a career in web series, in your opinion? You know, you're behind the lens, you direct, and I think you edit, if I'm not mistaken as well. right? For 1v1. So for you, is there actually a future in web series, and if so, how? You know, how would you actually build yourself so that you can get yourselves into the different spheres, you know, into a film or whatever the case? What is your advice and your opinion on that?
There's quite a few things, but I think first and foremost, if you want to create, then create. If you want to learn, create. Also, don't be afraid to like reach out to people. I remember when we first decided to make this thing, I got this girl who was a student of AFDA. She did producing, so I was like, can you like look at this thing and see what we need to make it, what equipment we need, what the budget we need. And she came back and it was like this crazy budget, and I gave it to the producer. I was like, here you go. And he's like, nah, bruh. And he's like, figure out a way to do this for no money, because you're not getting any money from it, or not making money from it. So then I kind of had to go back to the drawing board, and I mean, to be honest, for like a few hours, I was just like, okay, I guess this is not happening. But then we realized we should just contact gear houses around Joburg. So we just started like randomly contacting Panavision, Low High, Visual Impact, all these people who rent out gear. And one of them responded and he was like, let's have a meeting. So we went to him, we told him what we were trying to do. At the time, some of the people that I had on board were students. So he was like, I'm really into educating young people about filmmaking. So if you've got a lot of students, I'm willing to give you this equipment for free. So he did. For however long we needed it, he gave us the equipment, which was once again shocking for me. Like I didn't expect anything from it, but yeah, we got that. So once again, I think just try. Like if you've got an idea and you wanna make it, just try. Contact people, gear houses, producers, whatever. People are usually quite open. You find they're hungry to make stuff. So I think, yeah, just make stuff. And even more importantly, I think a lot of us here are just doing stuff ourselves,
sure.
Right? Like if you have a camera, a friend with a camera, just shoot something. Just make it. You know what I mean?
Actually, sorry, I said that was my last question, but I lied. This is actually now my last question, right? So there's different formats. There's vloggers. We get people that vlog. We get people that do different kinds of ways, right? And now you just mentioned equipment, and equipment obviously matters. Now, in the absence of, if you don't have that equipment, obviously you can go guerrilla style, like you said, you know, cold calling people, cold calling emails, you know, yo, this is what we're trying to do. But in the absence of, let's say if you don't succeed with that, would you say it's, I mean, you're behind the scenes, right? And you edit, so you know of how long the process is in going into this thing. Would you say it's as easy as just putting a phone down, getting started like that, you know, and just literally taking a video and then getting it out there, getting opinions, you know, or is it, would you say that you should actually plan it out, go through a lot more pre-production, you know, or is it as easy as just literally taking a phone and shoot?
I mean, I guess it depends on who's doing it and what the idea is. But I think the idea of just putting a phone down and just doing it, that's basics. So if you're really hungry to do something, you'll just find a way to do it. Also these days, I mean, phones are so dope now. You know, cameras are so dope, like iPhones and stuff. People are shooting movies on iPhones. So I really feel like there's really no reason people shouldn't be making their own stuff. You know, I see a lot of people on. I actually came across Zigi like I think a year ago because of his skits that he was talking about. Like I just saw his skits online, and then I met him at some point randomly, and I was like, yo, I've seen your skits. And you could tell that it was just guerrilla, but I think if the content is good enough, if the passion is there, then it'll come through, regardless of how polished it is. So yeah, if you have a phone, shoot, man, or find someone with a camera and shoot.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.